7 days, 1 loop from Bergen. We are going to show you the whole route, what is worth stopping for, what to skip, and 1 stop no other itinerary will send you on. The route goes north first, then east over the mountains, and back south along the Hardangerfjord. 7 days is the minimum. 10 would be better. If you try to do it in 5, you will just be moving the whole time. The starting point is Bergen. We have a full video about the city if you need a plan for your first or last day. Head north from Bergen on the E39, past Nordhordlandsbrua and Mongstad, then turn west towards the coast. Along the way, you can stop at Gudvangen, an open-air memorial site where Norwegian common law was shaped over 1,000 years ago. Not much infrastructure, but a nice short stop if you are into history. The ferry from Rutledal to Krakhella takes over an hour, which is longer than most Norwegian ferries. It runs every second hour, so check the timetable before you drive up. When you arrive on Sula, you will notice the roads mostly have 1 lane with passing points. Check ahead before a passing point, or someone is reversing a long way, and watch out for sheep. After about 20 kilometers, you reach Hardbakka, the main settlement, a supermarket, hotel, a few restaurants. You can base yourself here for the next 2 nights, as tomorrow's boat also leaves from Hardbakka. Solund is unlike anywhere else on this trip. No fjords. Open Atlantic coast, over 1,700 islands along the edge of the mainland. It looks like the landscape you would see far up in Helgeland, but you do not have to drive 1,500 kilometers to get here. If you still have energy after the drive, walk up Ramnenipa, the hill right behind Hardbakka, 232 meters. Go up the easy southern side and back the same way. About an hour and a half, and you get the whole archipelago in one view. This is the day that makes the itinerary different from anything else in a guidebook. Every morning at 11, a boat leaves Hardbakka. Part passenger boat, part post-delivery, part sightseeing. It drops mail at the small islands along the way, and in summer it runs all the way out to Bulandet, on the outermost edge of the Norwegian coast. Seasonal note: the full route to Bulandet only runs in summer. For the rest of the year, the boat goes to Gaularfjellet and back, so you still get a great tour, just shorter. The first stop is Vitroy, home of Solund mat, which produces what many consider the best fenalår in Norway. Fenalår is cured leg of lamb. During summer season, they open their factory shop, so you can actually buy some to take home. Next is Gaularfjellet, the one stop where you can get off and walk around. Small path, a few old houses, good view over the archipelago. If the schedule gives you time ashore, take it. Finally, you reach Bulandet. Small white houses on bare rock, bridges between islands, open sea on the other side. We have a separate video about this boat trip if you want to see the whole thing. Book in advance. Seats are limited and locals get priority. The booking site is also available in English and German. Back in Hardbakka in the late afternoon. 1 more night on Sula. Morning ferry back to the mainland, then east towards the Sognefjord. The road east brings you to Fossestein, the waterfall trail. 14 waterfalls over 21 kilometers. Several entry points, so pick one of the shorter sections. Even 20 or 30 minutes along the path is worth it. Full video on the trail if you want more. Continue up the road and you are on Gaularfjellet, one of Norway's scenic routes. 9 hairpins, a panoramic viewpoint at the top. Historically, people crossed here because it was easier than building a road along the fjord. Seasonal road. Outside summer, it is closed. The day ends in Balestrand, one of the more famous towns on the Sognefjord. The most visible building is Kviknes Hotel, receiving guests since the 19th century. Kaiser Wilhelm II was on holiday here in 1914, when World War I broke out. It is the most expensive place to stay in town. But there are cheaper options nearby if you just want to see the hotel, not stay in it. Next door is the Norwegian Tourism Museum, which tells the story of how tourism in Norway began. Given what you are doing right now, it is fitting context. Short driving day. The boat is the main event. From Balestrand, drive east along the Sognefjord to Sogndal. Between Sogndal and Kaupanger, you pass the Heiberg Collection, also called the Sogn Folk Museum. Open-air museum with old buildings from around the region, similar in concept to Oslo's Folkemuseum, or Myhaugen, just smaller. If you have time to kill before the ferry, it is a good place to stop. Summer season only. Check hours first. A few kilometers further on is Kaupanger, with its stave church, one of the oldest wooden buildings in Norway, still in regular use. The real reason you are in Kaupanger is the car ferry. The Nærøyfjord is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, along with Hardangerfjord. 250 meters wide at its narrowest, only 22 meters of that navigable. Mountains rise 1,760 meters on either side. Cruise ships cannot fit, which is part of why the place still works. Along the way, you pass Stevie and Dirdal, two hamlets with no road access, and Frenningen, Norway's largest privately owned forest estate. Above runs the world's longest free-hanging power line, almost 5 kilometers between two pylons. The crossing takes about 3 hours. The ferry runs mid-May to end of September. 4 departures a day in summer, 2 a day in low season, and outside that window it does not run at all. Book in advance. It is a small ferry and it sells out. If you are doing this trip out of season, take the ferry from Balestrand directly to Vik, then Road 13 south over Vikafjellet. Not really much longer in driving time, so it is a viable plan B. You miss the Nærøyfjord boat ride, but you can still complete the loop. The ferry lands at Gudvangen, a tiny village at the head of the fjord. There is a Viking village called Njardarheim if that interests you. Otherwise, overnight here, or push on to Arland or Flom. The longest driving day and the transition from fjord country to mountain plateau. Start early. First stop is Flom. If you want to ride the Flåmsbana railway, this is where you do it. 50 minutes each way. Genuinely impressive scenery. Book ahead and check the cruise ship schedule so you do not end up in a 6,000 passenger scrum. If the train is not your thing, skip it and keep driving. From Flom, head up to Orland and climb to Stegastein, the wooden viewing platform hanging out over the Orlandsfjord. One of Norway's most photographed viewpoints. Warning. The road up is narrow with few passing points. In high season, it jams up with oversized campers, and you may not find parking. Come early morning or late afternoon. Middle of the day is the worst time. From Orland, take Road 50 over Itinerary to Geilo. This is the routing choice that makes the itinerary work. You cross directly east to Hallingdal. The landscape shifts from fjord to mountain plateau. Geilo is just somewhere to sleep. Road 7 crosses the Hardangervidda, Norway's largest mountain plateau. Barren, windswept, completely different from yesterday's fjords. Reindeer herds are possible, but do not count on it. Bring a warm layer, even in summer. Most people cross the Hardangervidda by car and see it through the windscreen. It is worth stopping. At Diranut, there is a lodge and a parking area. From there, you can walk a short way onto the plateau itself. Even 15 minutes off the road gives you a completely different sense of the place. No trees, just low shrubs, rocks, and sky in every direction. Stay on marked paths. The ground is fragile and recovers slowly. A little further on, the road drops steeply towards Eidfjord. Vøringsfossen is on the way down, with a total drop of 182 meters. One of Norway's most visited and most photographed waterfalls. The viewing area was rebuilt over the last decade with proper platforms and a 99-step bridge across the gorge that opened in 2020. You can also hike down to the base if you have time. Full video on Vøringsfossen if you want more. Fjord is the village at the end of the fjord arm. Cruise ships dock here, and on big ship days the place is overrun with coach tours heading up to Vøringsfossen. Try to time around the schedule. If a ship is in, keep driving. From Fjord, drive west along the Hardangerfjord, Norway's largest fruit-producing area. Every few hundred meters along the road, small self-service fruit stands. Take the fruit, put money in the box. Apple, plum, and cherry season runs through summer. In May, the hillsides turn white when all the fruit trees blossom at once. The Hardanger Bridge is worth slowing down for. 1.3 kilometers span, one of the longest suspension bridges in the world. Both pillars had to be built on land because the fjord is too deep for foundations. End the day in Norheimsund, or stop earlier at Vøringsfossen or Fjord. Depends how much you want to see and how fresh you want to be tomorrow. An intentionally light final day. A few kilometers outside Norheimsund on Road 7 is Stegastein. This is the waterfall where you can walk behind the curtain of water without getting wet. Not very tall, but the path behind it is a genuinely unusual experience. It is also a young waterfall. The river only found this path in 1699, parking right in front. From Stegastein, Road 7 follows the fjord back to Bergen. No need to rush. Arrive by early afternoon and you have time for anything you missed in Bergen on day 1. If you are flying out the same day, factor in transfer time to Bergen Airport Flesland. If you are planning a longer trip or a different part of the country, check out our other itinerary videos. Each one is built the same way. Full route, what to stop for, what to skip. Link in the description to the full itinerary for this loop with maps, GPS points, and all the places in the Explore Norway app.